let me know if you're able to see my screen as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's great. So let's get started. It's already 6. So hi everyone, good evening. I'm Drishti, and I'll talk about what topics I have discussed in the course, and also I'll give you some tips on interviews, on the hiring process, and so on. And obviously, you can any questions as you want, and we can have a discussion here. Okay. So let's get started. I'm Drishti. I'm a software engineer at Google. I basically work in Google Cloud in the technical infrastructure. And before Google, I also interned at 2 places. One is Amazon, in the Amazon Pay team as a software development intern, and in Oracle as a data science intern, because I was interested in software development and data science both. So I just wanted a flavor of both of them. And I'm also from BITS Pilani. I graduated from BITS Pilani, Hyderabad campus. Okay, so the topics that I have covered in the Gamma Prep course are graphs, dynamic programming, and the machine learning project. So these topics are going to come in the end of the course because they are advanced topics. So graphs would be done after trees and dynamic programming would be after that. And then you have a project also on machine learning where we are going to discuss some machine learning models like decision trees. So these would be the topics that I'll be covering in the live classes as well. And you have the recordings, you have the sessions also available to you. Now, yes, so now we are going to talk about process. Okay, any doubts so far? Anything that you want to tell, anything that's in your mind? Are we good? Can I get a yes from you?
Yes, you can continue.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So
Yes,
now
ma'am.
we'll talk. That's great. So now we are going to talk about a typical process, like how does the hiring process start? And what would be the steps and what should be taken care of at each point. So the process typically is first you have a resume shortlist. There are lots of companies coming in your campus. You can apply off campus also. And first what's done is that you
Your
upload your
voice is
resume.
not talking.
Is it the same for everyone else also?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yeah, for me, it's okay.
Is it fine now?
Yeah, ma'am, it's fine now.
Oh, okay. So typically, we'll start off with the resume shortlist in any company, like be it on campus, be it off campus. Could you tell me, like, what do you think? Is on-campus placement harder or is it off-campus?
I'm off campus.
Ma'am, off campus.
Okay.
It depends on the company and the package range we are applying for.
Yeah, that's correct. But yes, generally, as you told, off-campus are difficult. The reason is there is competition. So like when a company comes to your college, it would have some number in mind. Like say it wants to take 60 people. And then it will try to get 60 people out of your college. But in off campus, there are thousands and I would say lakhs of people applying. And then they just need a small number out of it. So they are trying to select the best pool there. So again, there is competition in off campus placements, but I won't say it's not possible. It's definitely possible if you have the skills. So first we start off with resume shortlist. Then we have the online test where you have aptitude, your coding, all those things would come in. And then once you clear that online test, you go for technical interviews. Technical interviews could be one or two. Again, if it's a very big company which is just trying to take the cream batch, the cream students, then probably there could be 3 interviews as well. And the final one is the HR round, where the company is trying to check whether you are the right fit for the company or not. Now, there can be cases where you have excellent coding skills, you know a lot of computer fundamentals, but you are not the one who can actually fit in the company. So that because a company wants a person with good skills, but also they want the person to fit really well in their company. So that's checked in the HR round. Now it's not that if you do resume shortlist well, you can skip these 3, or if you do online tests where you can skip these two. That's not possible. So we have to excel in each of the stages. So the skills that are needed here, I already talked about that you have to be good in your skills. So what are the skills needed? The DSA, that is the problem solving skills. Because why a company checks for problem solving skills? Because there will be lots of problem statements or there will be lots of projects happening in a company. Now, the interviewer wants to understand how good your problem solving skills are or how well you approach the problem. Do you think in all perspectives or not? And that could be figured out from data structures and algorithms. Also, you have aptitude. Generally, it comes in the online test. In the technical interviews, you can have puzzles. So that's also there. And we have computer fundamentals. So object-oriented programming, operating systems, database management system, all these will be also the questions that are asked, not only in the online test, but also in the technical interviews. And in your technical interviews, you'll have a resume discussion as well. So whatever you wrote in your resume, say you wrote 2 projects and 1 internship. So what did you do in your internship? What did you do in your project? What was the tech stack did you use? So all those things would be discussed in the technical interviews as well. And you should be very well familiar with the projects that you have done because ultimately you have done them. So the interviewer will definitely expect that you know stuff about your projects and internship. Any doubts so far?
Ma'am,
Ma'am.
ma'am, you excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, you
Yes.
were talking about off-campus placements. So, ma'am, how much do referrals do play role in off-campus placements, like referrals?
Yes, definitely a good question. So, see, it depends on the company. Now, there can be companies where referrals will help you make the process quick. Because if you see a off-campus process, the resume shortlisting will happen. Then, let's say after 2 weeks, the online test happens. Then, if you excel in that online test, then probably after some time, after some months, technical interviews will happen. So, the process is very slow if you directly apply on the job portal. But sometimes when you apply through a referral, the things are very quick. So if I give you an example for Google only, if a person applies through a referral, the things become very quick. So in 3 days, the resume is reviewed. And if the resume is found to be matching, then you're contacted by the recruiter. So in some cases, referrals are going to make the process quick, but it's not that they are going to help you in cracking the offer. It's not that. They are just going to make the process quick.
Okay. And ma'am, apart from Google,
Yes.
are there, excuse me, can you please hide on mute?
Sorry, could you repeat? I'm not able to hear you.
Ma'am, apart from Google, are there any more companies that you know of that have a slow process generally, and due to referrals, the process becomes quite easier and quicker?
For Amazon, it definitely happens. For
Okay.
Oracle, also happens. So for product-based companies, this is the case, and for some service-based companies, also this can happen.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, but again, it depends on the company, the specific company.
Also, ma'am, do referrals, sort of guarantee you an online test link because sometimes what
No,
happens? Okay, ma'am.
no, no. That's not the case. Your again resume would be reviewed. If you are good enough, or like if the profile is matching, then only you get a call for the online test.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am, is Google required a graduation compulsory?
Could you repeat?
Ma'am, is Google required a graduation in resume? It's compulsory.
So what happens is you apply in your final year. Obviously, in your pre-final year, you can apply for internships. In your final year, you apply for jobs, and you don't have to be graduated when you're applying. But when your joining date, let's say your joining date is in July, then before that, you should have graduated. So
Okay, thank
while
you, ma'am.
applying, graduation is not necessary, but when you are actually going as a full-time employee, then graduation is necessary.
Ma'am, I
Ma'am,
ask
one
because
more
I am a 12th pass out student.
Hmm.
like actually like we are freelancers.
Yeah.
and we completed up to like 12th class only.
Okay,
Complete
okay.
graduation.
Okay. So in that case, what happens is now again, each company has lots of job openings and they write their minimum qualifications there. If they don't have any like if they don't have written anything on minimum qualifications as B.Tech or M.Tech of that sort, then you can apply. But if the minimum qualifications are, let's say, B.Tech or like some bachelors, then probably you might not be able to apply. But if they have not written anything, then you can definitely apply. And there are jobs for those categories also. It's not that there aren't any jobs.
Ma'am,
Yes.
can Google give chances to BSc students?
Could you repeat the chances to?
BSc students.
Yes, yes. So they ask for bachelor's of engineering or equivalent. They don't specify something like that it should only be engineering. They in the minimum qualifications they are going to specify bachelor's or equivalent, and equivalent comes as that. So the main point is you have to check the minimum qualifications. If the minimum qualifications are satisfied, do apply. If you apply without the minimum qualifications, the first filter out will happen and you won't be able to go through the next stage. So check the minimum qualifications. It's fine if you don't have the preferred qualifications. So during when the job opening is posted on the portal, there are minimum qualifications and there are preferred qualifications. So you should satisfy the minimum qualification, not necessarily the preferred qualifications. Yeah. Anything else?
Ma'am, how many round taken by the Googles, ma'am? Like,
Who-
yes, ma'am. Like
Okay.
interview.
Okay, for Google, right? So in Google, the process is really long and draining as well. I feel that other MNCs, they don't have such a big process. In Google, there's resume shortlisting, which is going to take a lot of time. Then there's one telephonic interview, which would be kind of an easy round, where you will be asked some easy or medium level questions. Once you qualify the telephonic round, then there are five technical rounds, 4 or 5 technical rounds. And after that, there is a HR round, which is called the Googliness round, like how googly you are, how well you can be a Googler. So this is a big process and it takes around 3 or 4 months to complete. Obviously, you can expedite the process also, like make it quick by scheduling your interviews very quickly and also having a referral. So in that way, you can reduce this the months which are needed in the Google's process. But I have seen personally that people, they generally want some time to prepare, right? Because if they have an interview, then they'll need some 1 week or 1.5 week to actually prepare before the interview. Yeah. So approximately, I would say 4 or 5 technical interviews plus a HR round. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else?
Ma'am, can I manage both college and internship?
So internship, you can take a summer internship or a winter internship. Now, since it's work from home, you can take a internship, but don't take it as full time. Like what I mean by full time is that you're required to work from 9 to 5 or some similarly 8 or 9 hours. Don't take
Yes,
that. Otherwise, it will become really hectic. You can
yes,
have a
ma'am.
part-time one where you're learning also and contributing also, or specifically for 2 months, that's the summer internship and the winter internship, like for 1 month, winter.
Ma'am,
So
which one
you can
is
have
better
that.
ma'am? Online internship or offline?
So, like again, that's something which depends on the company. Online right now, most of the companies are offering online internships only. But in offline internship, you learn more. But like seeing the current situation, even the big companies will also give online internship.
Okay,
So
ma'am. Thank you.
like we can't do anything about it, but hopefully soon everything is going to open up and you'll get some offline internships.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll move on and then take up questions again. So now what we have is, first we need to prepare a resume, right? You need to go through the resume shortlist process. Again, resume shortlist in on-campus placements is easy because again, there is less competition. For off-campus placements, resume holds significance. But definitely, it's worth to have a good resume all throughout, right? So the resume, like these are some tips which you should definitely keep in mind when you're writing your resume. It should be one pager. It shouldn't be like 2 or 3 pages covering each and every detail. It should be just one page reflecting who you are and uh, exactly what you know, what are your technical skills, what projects you have done, everything should be there. And honest, and it should be honest as well. Like you can probably write fancy things and get through the resume shortlist, but then there are technical interviews where you will uh, be evaluated. So you should write honestly whatever you are. It should basically reflect you as a technical person. Then explain your internships and projects really well. So whatever internships you do, whatever projects you have done, you should write them in bullet points. Again, bullet points is not mandatory, but it is kind of a preferred way. So what would happen is, what, let's say you have a project, you're going to write 3 points out of it. What did you do? How did you do? And what was the impact you created? Maybe you decreased the error by, let's say, 20%, or increased the performance by 15%. So tell the impact that you created. That is, what's the significance of the work that you do. And significance would definitely be more important in internships, like how well you contributed in your internship for your company. So significance holds importance, a lot of importance in your internships. So whenever you have a project or internship in mind, just try to answer these 3 things: what, how, and significance. And from that, you will be able to get what you have to write in your resume for your projects and internships. Then use keywords. What do I mean by keywords? It's, so let's say if you have used your algorithm. So in the machine learning project that you do here, you will be using classification algorithms like decision trees. So highlight those algorithms, highlight what did you use, like which machine learning algorithm you used, what you used precision, you used recall, what was the measure of evaluation did you use. So basically all the important points should be highlighted. It's not that out of 20 words you're highlighting 10. No, out of 20 words, highlight 1 or 2 words that are very important. Edit the resume according to the company you're applying for. It might not be very significant right now for you, but let's say if a company is coming specifically for a Java role, or they have told in their job description that they need Java. So if you've done something in Java, then put it. Again, if you've not done, then that's perfectly fine. If they're asking for expertise in Python, if you've done something in Python, then put it there, like any project in Python. If they're asking, let's say for Python, you can put the machine learning project. So depending on what the company is asking, if you have something of that sort, try to highlight that. Because again, if you match the expectations of the company, then the chances are high that you go to the next round. Focus on the technical aspects. Now, what do I mean by technical aspects? So in technical aspects, basically, you have to tell what is your technical proficiency, like what languages you know, what are the skill sets, that, let's say data structures and algorithms, object-oriented programming, and so on. Obviously, you should include that you were, let's say, the president of ECell in your college, or you were some head in your college. You can mention those. You can mention the extracurriculars that you do, but mention it at the bottom. So the main focus should be on the technical aspects. And whatever you write in your resume, it should be honest, because you will have to explain it in your technical interviews. And mention only those subjects which you are very, very confident at. Don't mention everything. If you've done 10 subjects, then don't mention all of them. Okay. Any doubts? And before that, is the meeting getting recorded? Yeah, the meeting is being recorded. Okay. Yeah. Anything on resume?
So, ma'am, what are the minimum number of subjects that one should include in order for a good resume?
There's no minimum number, but if I could give you, if I could tell you what are the minimum requirements, one should be data structures and algorithms, The second one, you can have object-oriented programming. So if you write these two, then there are chances that it looks good. But if you have other things also like operating systems or computer networks, you can put those. But at least have DSA, that is data structures and algorithms. It could be in any way you write. You could have data structures and algorithm, C programming, C++ programming. So whatever subjects you know, put all of them. Obviously, if you know DSA, then you would have learned a language also, right? So try to put all those things that are relevant and that you know of.
Ma'am, there are some job openings where requirement of database management systems are there. So
Yes.
I have put DBMS as a subject there, but I'm not that confident for it. So what should I do in that case? Shall I include it
So
or not?
okay, noted. Yes, I'll maybe you can mute yourself because there's some disturbance.
Ma'am, it's from
Uh,
Sri Varsha. If you
oh,
could.
okay, yeah, okay, that's great. That's gone. Thanks. So, if it's written that DBMS is required, then if you write DBMS, the problem is that there are chances that questions on DBMS is asked because that's what the company is telling that we need this. So if you write it, there will be questions. So you should be ready for questions also on interviews.
Okay, so ma'am, is there something like that? Like whenever I'm appearing for an interview, I haven't written DBMS, but can I manually tell the interviewer that I am not that confident, but I know the basics of DBMS, something like that, which
The
which I which
problem
I know was
would be
mentioned in the
hmm,
job posting, which I
job
know
description.
was something a preferred skill to be had in the not in the minimum requirements, but a preferred skill or a plus point. So.
I would suggest is don't say that
Okay.
because if you say and you know they are interested in DBMS, they'll
Hmm.
ask questions.
Okay.
And if you're not confident, you probably might screw up those things. So it's
Yes.
better not to tell those things that you're not confident at.
Okay, ma'am.
I
Thank you.
know it's again a minus point, but it's better than like getting the question and not able to answer it.
Yes, ma'am. Okay,
Hello.
thank you.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello,
Yes.
ma'am. According to you, what is the main, you know, main thing in to select in companies? Is this DSA or projects
So
or
I would say data structures and algorithms. If you know data structures and algorithms, any company will be willing to hire you because that's the main skill that is needed. So if you just give me to pick up one out of them, I'll say data structures and algorithms.
because when there are a lot of people, they are just put languages in their resume like Java, C++. They didn't mention the DSA. That's asked.
Yeah.
Mm.
So the point is you should have something in your like written in your project, like you should have done something in 4 years, right? So you should definitely write some projects, but the main thing that would be there in interviews is data structures and algorithms. So if you know data structures and algorithms, then there are a lot of companies waiting for you,
Sir,
and
ma'am,
that's what we focus on in Gamma Prep as well. Yeah.
ma'am, in service-based company, they need a DSA.
So not in the levels that they need in product based companies. So you should know data structures and algorithms to a kind of a mediocre level, that you should know what are different data structures, you should know sorting, you should know what is recursion, you should know the loops, you should know arrays, strings. You'll not be given very hard questions to code. You might be given very small simple questions to code, and then your computer fundamentals will also be tested in service based companies. Let's say like how much do you know about object oriented programming? There will be questions like what is abstraction, what is encapsulation, what is the difference between object oriented programming and procedural programming. So there your theory plus a bit of DSA will hold importance. Yeah.
Ma'am, when can
Ma'am,
we start applying for companies after 3 months or more than that?
So after 3 months, like after what?
When can we start applying?
So basically, if let's say you're graduating in, so you are doing your bachelor's, or is there something else that
No,
you're
I've
doing?
completed in 2021.
Okay, so if you've completed it in 2021, then you can start applying right now. If you know the skills, if you don't know, then
Mhm.
probably take 2 months to complete all the skills and then start applying. From where you're going to apply, you will have you have a lot of career pages, portals, LinkedIn, Gamma Prep is also going to help you. So wherever you see a job opening, don't wait for that. I'll apply after 1 week or 2 weeks. Don't wait like that. Apply. It's
Okay.
fine. It's fine if you are not selected. But the more you apply, the more chances you will have to get selected. And also, even if you don't get selected, but if you get a chance to give interviews, that will help you in your further companies.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am,
Ma'am, if we are in from CSIT department, so should we skip our subjects from resume?
So if let's say you are from just giving a random guess, let's say you are from electronics, so you can mention your electronic subjects as well. Again, don't mention all of them, just mention a few of them. But before that, mention the computer science subjects that you know. Let's say DSA and one more, and then mention your electronic subjects. So no one is going to ask you electronic subjects for service-based companies. But since you've done that, because you actually did those subjects for 4 years, right? So you should have done some like subjects. So do mention them, but at the end, after the computer science subjects.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so let's move on. Okay, a question to you. Is this a good resume or not?
No, no.
no, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Why? Why?
Because of profile photo, ma'am.
Okay, yes, this profile photo is not at all professional. Again, there are lots of graphics, right? All these are not needed. So you shouldn't have something like this or something like this or the shadow effect. All these things shouldn't be there. So it should look really professional, right? It should mention your skills, mention who you are, but not all these things. And if you want, you can definitely have a photo, but it should be very, very professional and a small one. Otherwise, don't add any other graphics. Okay.
Ma'am,
So now, yes.
ma'am, like LinkedIn ID or GitHub ID play any important role in this for the resume?
So what you could do is, so you could have a hyperlink. So basically, where you have written your name, below that you can have hyperlinks for your LinkedIn ID, your GitHub ID, and maybe your mail. What is your mail? So just hyperlinks. Don't put the entire one. That is www and so on. Just put a hyperlink. That is, you write LinkedIn, and when a person clicks on it, they go to your LinkedIn profile. That is what I mean by hyperlink. Okay. Now let's move on to the online test. Again, yes. Yes, there was someone who was trying to ask something.
Ma'am, is compulsion of internship?
Um, you're saying that is internship necessary?
Yeah, ma'am.
So internship is not necessary, but internship is going to give you a edge over others. But it's completely fine that if you don't have an internship, you can definitely get placed without an internship as well. Okay, so now moving on to the online test. In online test, you will have all your computer fundamentals coming in, object-oriented programming, DBMS. So if I have to give you the priority, first would be object-oriented programming, second would be DBMS, third would be operating system. And this computer networks is very, very rare, very rare. And then you will have aptitude questions. Then the next thing is once you have, so even companies like TCS, L&T, first they have the MCQ round, and then they have the coding round where you have to do 2 questions in, let's say, 1 hour, or maybe they have 3 questions. Again, it depends on the company. So in the online test, you will have these two things. Again, first, this is also important. And sometimes what happens is in TCS, first you have MCQs and then you have coding. In LNT also it happens that first you have MCQs. If you crack that, then you go to the coding round. So again, both have to be done well. So what's needed is aptitude, computer fundamentals, and data structures and algorithms for online test. Now, different companies are going to use different platforms. HackerRank, HackerEarth, all of these platforms would be used. And for coding questions, you'll be given a detailed problem statement, like what is the problem statement with what the constraints are, what can the n value be, and whatever other values are there, like how the array would be, all those things would be given to you. And you'll also be given some examples. You might be asked to write the complete code, that is from the first line, that is hash include also. You might have to write the complete code, or probably you just have to complete a function. But your aim in both the cases should be to pass all the test cases. There are public test cases and there are private test cases also. So you should pass all the test cases. And if you do that, then you get more points. And this is what I have mentioned here also. So completing one question, complete question, is way greater than 2 half questions done. So your focus should be to complete the question. It shouldn't be like out of 10 test cases, I have done fine, so I'll get half marks. No, your aim should be to complete all the test cases. And this is something very important which you should take care when you are attempting the coding test.
Ma'am, can you tell us more about the test cases?
Can you tell more about
The test cases.
Okay, so test cases, basically, again, you're going to see those when we go in the course. So test cases means, let's say you are given a question. Let's say you're given a question to find out the Fibonacci series, right? You're told to find out the nth element in the Fibonacci series. So probably when you write your code, you might have used just your for loop and some simple things, and you might have coded, and probably 2 or 3 test cases are passing. But then when there are very big test cases, that is big test cases in sense when there is a very big value of n, that is you have to find the let's say the 1000th element in the Fibonacci series, there your simple code might not work. The reason is because the time complexity would increase. So you will have to write not only the simple solution, you will have to write an optimized solution also, which works for small test cases, that is small values of n, and also for big values of n. And that is what you're going to see as we go along in the course.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So
can we
now
use
some
any
interview
library in the online coding test?
Yes. So library, as in, let's say you want to use the sort function, right? You can use that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you can use.
Yeah.
That's mean
Yes.
ma'am, we can use C++ STL in online coding now?
Yes, definitely. That's the main purpose of taking C++, because you don't have to write write the complete implementation of queues, stacks, priority queues, and so on. You can directly use them. Yes.
Ma'am, actually, I wanted to ask, like, what I have got to know from many of my elders, like, is Python, does it have more inbuilt function to it if we consider and take in place C++?
So again, there are advantages to both the languages. So generally for these coding, what's preferred is C++. Like many people code in C++ for their placements. Things are simple in Python. Obviously, something which probably requires 5 lines in C++ might be done in 1 line in Python. So there things are small, but there are some limitations as well. Like there are some things which you can do in C++ and not in Python. But yes, if you want to use Python, you can definitely go for it. And Python has an added advantage. Like I learned Python, the advantage that I got was I was able to do data science things also there. So I was able to write machine learning, like I was able to do my machine learning projects in Python. So that was the advantage that I got for Python. So what I did was in C++, I used to code like all those lead code questions and for my placements. And I also had a additional language that was Python, which I used to use sometimes for coding, but majority of the times for my machine learning stuff.
All right, ma'am. Yes.
And
But for online test, don't you think Python isn't that preferred because
Yes,
its compile time is higher
yes,
generally? It's slower.
yes, correct. So that's why I said for my placements, I used to go for C++ and not Python.
And
Ma'am,
also, ma'am,
Ma'am, one more
is
question.
time, ma'am, is time
Yeah.
taken into consideration while we do online tests, ma'am? Is time like in what time have we solved a specific question? How much time have we taken
Okay.
to?
So basically, let's say you're given two questions and you need to do it in 60 minutes, but you did both of the questions in 40 minutes.
Okay.
Majority of the companies won't take this into consideration, that how much is the, like, in what time it was done. If you've done two questions, then probably you will be selected for the next round, that is for interviews. In case everyone has done, like if everyone has done all the questions and they have to select on basis of something, then they are going to go for time. So so first thing, and it's very rare that everyone has completed all the questions, like all both the questions. So aim is to complete questions in the time that is given. If you do it in 40 minutes instead of 60, it is not a very, like a very good advantage. Obviously it's good, but it's not something that is going to give you a edge over others.
Okay.
Hi, Drishti.
Yeah, and also one more thing I want to add in your question. So if let's say you did a question and the time complexity that you had for your question is O of n square, there might be some test cases that are not passing. But for the second person who did that question in O of n, his all test cases would be passing. So the time complexity of your question should be like, you should have written the optimized approach.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. There was another question.
Hi, Drishti.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Can we use the STL library also in interview rounds?
Yes, definitely. I used it in all my interviews.
Does language matters?
No. It's your personal choice in which language you want to code. I prefer C++,
Because I'm
but
interested in Java
you,
more than C++.
yes, definitely. That works. That absolutely works. So the approach would be the same. The way of writing it in a language would be different. And it does not matter in your like interviews. You can code in any language that you want.
C++ language is best for competitive coding.
You cannot say best. It's a personal choice. So some people prefer C++, some prefer Java. So again, some prefer Python also, but there are very rare or very few people who prefer C, because in C you have to write a lot of code for even stack, for even queues.
I can say C++ language is best for competitive programming.
No, as I said, it's your personal choice. You cannot say that this is the best or this is the best. So there's no hard and fast one answer for this.
Ma'am, but as in you said that Python requires very less line of codes as compared to Java and C++, would it be also good if we choose Python also? I mean, as you even said, it would help in machine learning and data science projects as you did. So it would be like doing going for one language and you could explore many things with it.
But as we already discussed, there are some things which like for which there are questions, but like could be done in C++ or Java, but could not be done in Python. And also the time taken to run a program in Python is higher.
Okay.
So again, it's a trade-off that you have to do, right? So what do you want?
Yes, ma'am.
But yeah, I won't restrict you to any language. Obviously, what we have done in the course is doing it by C++. If you feel that C++ is something good for you and you're able to understand it, go ahead with C++. But in case you feel that Java would be good for you, or you're not able to understand C++ as well as Java, then what you could do is take the approach would remain the same. But instead of seeing the videos where we are coding in C++, try to code it in Java. So
Ma'am?
I don't say that don't go for any other language. Yeah.
And we can go DSA through the only C.
Can we do DSA only through C?
Yes.
Yes, you can do that, but things would
But
be a bit difficult because you'll have to write lot of code. Like your program would be very big. If you're using just stacks, you will have to implement stacks. So your program would be very big. It would be difficult to debug things because you're writing lot of code. But it's not that you cannot do it. But if I have to give a suggestion, I wouldn't say that go for C. You go for C++ or Java. That's something that you should do. But if you know C, it's very easy to learn C++. And I also started off with C because that was what was taught in our college. Like all our courses were done in C. We had to submit all our assignments in C. So till my third year, I was doing C only. But in 1 month, I was able to transition to C++ because majority of the things remain the same and the things that are added, they're for our advantage only. So we have STL. So if I want to call a stack, I'll just say stack int s. If I want a queue, I'll say queue int q. So things become easier. So you'll be able to understand C++ if you know C.
Yes, ma'am. But every company allow C language.
Yes. So companies can have any like they don't want you to just be in one language. They can have it in C, C++, Java, Python. Your online test can be in any language. You have to select the language and then code it in that particular language.
Ma'am, according to your opinion, is it hard to crack a Google?
I wouldn't say it's hard. If you have, okay, in Google, one thing that's only needed. So there's no object-oriented programming. There is no operating systems, no database management system. It's only DSA, nothing else. So if you have good skills in DSA, you can do that. And you have to be patient because, as I said, it takes a lot of time.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, is salary is important?
Salary?
No, I mean system design. Like
system design. No, for freshers, it is not. So, like if you are a fresher, then system design is not important at all.
But for some like my HT1 professors, they are asking the low-level design. I thought of.
So generally, like for service based also and for product based also, systems design is not needed for the fresher roles. Again, it could be an exception that you saw in a company. But if you are, let's say, 2 or 3 years experienced, then system design would definitely come in your interviews. Okay, maybe let's now move on to the interview tips. Yeah. So first thing is revise your resume. You should be very, very thorough with your resume, right? You should be prepared to explain all the projects and internships that are mentioned in your resume, and also whatever subjects and languages you've written in your resume. You should be well aware. Again, if you've written C++, C, Java, and Python, if your main language is C++, then write it in the front and then say that I'm proficient in C++. So things would be fine. It's not that you cannot write multiple languages, but the language that you are most confident, write it in the front, and also in your when you are introducing yourself, say that I'm proficient in C++ or I code in C++. Okay. The second thing that is there is listen very carefully. So whenever you basically have a interview and the interviewer is explaining you the question, when he just said the word sort, don't assume that you have to write the sorting program, that is the sort code. No. Listen to the entire question. There can be a difference. There can be a difference in what you have studied and what he is asking. So first listen carefully. If you don't know the answer, think about it. Think about it and then probably take 2 or 3 minutes, understand the question, try to write whatever is coming in your mind. You can say, can I take 2 or 3 minutes? And then do whatever you can write, whatever you can think, and then frame your answer. And don't jump in to just solve the question. First, ensure that you've understood the question pretty well. you have also thought about how you're going to approach the problem, and then only speak up, because you should have clarity in thoughts. So it's fine if you take 2 or 3 minutes before actually telling your approach. It's fine. And sometimes people ask me, like, if I don't know the solution. So if you don't know the solution, first I would say is try hard. Try hard to figure out the solution. If it's a theoretical question and you don't know, it's fine. You can say, sorry, I don't have an answer for this. But if, let's say, it's a problem, like you have to solve a question, then try hard to figure out things. Try to have a fresh mind to start thinking about the question. And even if you're not able to think for, let's say, 15-20 minutes, or I don't give a number here, but if you're not able to think for a long time, then probably you can say. But try very, very hard to solve a question. Even if you're not able to go to the optimized version, at least tell the simple approach that is coming to your mind. Then the next thing is think out loud. So let's say you thought that I'm going to solve this question using stacks, but now you're just writing in your paper. You're trying to figure out, can this work? Can this work? After 2 or 3 minutes, when you have already thought of things that are coming in your mind, start speaking up. So whatever is coming in your mind, with clarity, start explaining that this is something that I'm thinking to do. This is also something that I'm thinking, but maybe I'll start off with this approach first. So explain everything. So whatever is in your mind, try to explain it. It's not that for 15 minutes the interviewer is just trying to understand what are you exactly thinking. You should keep telling what is going in your head. Then one thing that is very, very important is you should be confident. Be confident about the preparation that you did. Just remember that, yes, I have solved questions on different topics, and whatever comes in, with a fresh mind, I'll try to approach that problem. So be confident, and that is really going to help you. A positive attitude will definitely help. So in my interviews also, I used to be like, okay, there's a new problem coming in. I'll just try to first start off with some simple algorithms and see if they work. If not, then I'll go for some medium algorithms. If not, then I'll go for some hard algorithms. So I did not have anything in mind. Oh God, please, a question on array should come, or a question on stack should come. I used to say, whatever is the question, I'll see about it. Then again, try to have a technical discussion. Try to solve the question without any hints. But if there are some hints needed, like if an interviewer is trying to give you hints, then just don't ignore him. Try to integrate the hints that the interviewer is trying to give. Try to listen what the interviewer is saying. If he's saying maybe you could use, let's say, a non-linear data structure, then try to think about the non-linear data structures, that is graph or trace. So whatever he or she is telling, try to integrate those things in your thought process. So a good attitude, a confident attitude, a positive attitude is also going to play a very important role. Yes, confidence is the key. So first of all, what you do is, whenever there's an interview, you'll be asked to introduce yourself. So again, you tell about yourself, and also you tell the technical skills that you're very confident at. So I told you, like, if you know C++, you know C, and you know, let's say, Python, you write C++ first, and in your introduction, say about C++ only. Just focus on your strengths. And whenever you are asked any questions, be calm, be confident. It shouldn't be that you're shaking, you're nervous. Those things shouldn't happen. And that obviously happens in the first interview. But if you have mock interviews before your actual interview, then things would be better. And if you're asked, let's say, explain abstraction, try to explain it with examples. Try to explain what abstraction is, taking a real world example. If they're asking you about object-oriented programming, try to explain it with an example. Say, there are multiple students, there are teachers. So whatever way you have studied it, like, you try to explain it using examples. And in that way, the interviewer is also going to understand more. Because just giving a definition would probably not help. Try to explain it, like, how have you actually understood it? Try to explain it in the same way to the interviewer. This is also very important. So sometimes questions are asked, why do you want to join this company? Or do you know anything about this company? So before your actual interview, whichever company it is, try to know the history, that is when the company started, what's going on in the company, what are the technologies that the people are working there, what's the work there, what's the tech stack that they use. Try to research about all this, just to, so this will actually tell the interviewer that yes, you're keenly interested in a company. So this is really going to help. And my suggestions at the end would be, keep learning each day. It shouldn't be that you're learning for 2 days, taking a break of 5 days, and then coming back learning 2 days. Try to learn things each day. Even if you're not able to give 1 hour a day, try whatever time you get, even 15-20 minutes if you get, try to do a question. So if you keep yourself in sync, then you'll have a flow of data structures and algorithms, and also for computer fundamentals. Before your actual interviews, have a lot of mock interviews, so that you don't have that nervousness coming in, because you already had those nervousness in mock interviews. In the 5th and 6th interview, you cannot definitely have the mock that nervousness. So treat the actual interview also like a mock interview, and since you've already prepared for mock interviews, your actual interview should also go well. Now, whenever you get to know your mistakes, so when you do a question, whenever there's a HackerRank test, or whenever there's a mock interview, try to figure out your weak area. So when you see that in your HackerRank test, every time you're not able to do a graph question, that means graph is a weak area. In a mock interview, let's say you were asked 2 questions, one on stack and the other one on priority queue. You knew stacks pretty well, but priority queue, you were not able to do it. So understand that priority queue is something that is not, that's not what's good. Like that's not something which I'm very good at. So try to work on that. Just don't say that, oh, priority queue is something that I can't do, or graph is something that I can't do. Spend a lot of time, do a lot of questions there. And those weak areas would definitely become your strong areas. So I would say, for me, the weak area was dynamic programming. And I actually spent around 20 days doing just dynamic programming questions from LeetCode. And even now, if I see, the majority of questions that I've done on LeetCode are on dynamic programming. So the point that I'm trying to make is, figure out your weak areas and convert them into your strong areas. And for any company that you apply, check the previous year question papers. What's like, how is that going to help you? One thing, you will understand what is the level of questions asked. So again, every company has a different level. You'll understand the level, and you'll also understand what type of questions are there, and what are the data structures, or what are the computer fundamentals that are frequently asked or the company focuses on. So you will get to know that from previous year questions. So do that as well. Okay, now any doubts so far? I spoke a lot, sorry, but now let's have all the doubts and then go to a fun segment. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Suppose, ma'am, I have completed this course and completed the 3 projects that are given in this course. Then I applied to companies like fine companies like Google, Microsoft. Is there a chances to get selected in companies like Google in resume, because I'm a BS student?
So for let's say for FANG, now Mang actually, but for these companies, your resume should be something like something different. So you definitely can add these 3 projects, but try to improvise on this project, because you have done this project, right? Try to do something more on this project. So let's say in machine learning project that we have done clustering, we have done classification using some algorithms. Try to do something more. Try to add another algorithm. Try to make comparison between different algorithms. So try to do something which actually is different in your resume as compared to other people's resume. Because resume shortlisting for FANG or MANG is something which actually takes, like out of 1,000, they are probably going to take 2 or 3 resume. So you have to be writing a good resume and also having some good things there. But these projects, this machine learning project is good, but try to improvise.
Ma'am, if we want to explain about the project in Hindi language to the interviewer. So it is minus point
Um,
or it is
it actually depends on the interviewer as well. It might not be that he or she is very well aware of Hindi. Like uh, again, it's not that everyone knows Hindi, but if they know and they're willing to, like, if they have started something in Hindi, then you can also explain it in Hindi, but try to do it first in English, because there might be instances. So sometimes what happens is there are interviewers from like outside India as well. So in one of my interviews, I had a interviewer from US who took my first interview, and honestly, it was very hard for me to even understand his English. So I actually started off the captions so that I'm able to understand his English. He was speaking very fast, and it was difficult for me. Yeah. So the first priority should be given to English, but if the interviewer is comfortable with Hindi, then definitely you can go ahead. Yeah.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, actually, I have two questions. First is like I'm in my third year right now, but as due to pandemic or whatever reasons, I would say I have not
Hmm.
started much as of now. So could you first of all refer some good books? I mean, for DSA, I mean, from the basics, from the scratch, if you say.
I think in Gamma Prep, the course that is made is from basics, like complete basics.
Yeah.
So, uh, like again, you can go and refer that. And in case you find out any problem, like there's any problem in, let's say you're not able to understand vectors, then go and have a look at vector section in Geek for Geeks. So
Okay.
you'll be able to understand things. But a book, I personally did not use any book because I'm not a book person. Like I don't like to read lot. I just want to get what I need in short. So I go to links. I don't read books. So sorry.
Okay, ma'am. So it's like means actually I didn't get into much in my college books even. So that's the reason I was like quite confused when I started off with the course. I was like suddenly vectors and suddenly trees and all graphs. I was like a bit, something new has come. So I was like, to
Yeah.
get all those
So
references.
yeah, I got it. So what you could do is start off with uh, like see Geeks for Geeks and start off with the loops. Then start off with increment, post increment operator, and try to write these things. So once you understand loops, understand sorting, try to write those algorithms on your own. So
Mhm.
algorithm like sorting, recursion. So that's going to help you. The more you write, the better you will get at that language, whether it's C++ or any other language.
Yeah. And ma'am, what I was asking, like, if right now I'm doing in a software development intern somewhere in XYZ
Hmm.
company. So what I
Hmm.
understood right now is like, as now I'm doing an intern and it's my third year. So I was looking like after getting all this, getting a bit knowledge of C++ and DSA. After
Hmm.
suppose I sit in the coding node and all, do you have a choice of domains we could choose? I mean, let it be cloud computing or web development or machine learning or any other.
So, choice won't be like when you are actually applying. So, you can definitely say that you're good at web development, you're good at cloud computing, or machine learning, or data science. And there
Mhm.
probably might be a discussion in technical interviews as well. And if like it's a possibility, I won't say that it will always happen. Then probably the interviewer is going to take note of it, and also when you submit your resume, because you'll get you'll get a particular team after like you are hired. So
Okay.
in that like when you're getting the team, when your resume is seen, then probably you might get whatever you want. Again, it's something which is rare, and lucky people are those who get something which they actually wanted.
Oh, no, actually, what I meant was like, suppose if someone is quite aware of cloud computing and all, and he wishes
Hmm.
to pursue his career in it, so
Hmm.
means AWS and everything. So after
Hmm.
cracking the coding node and everything, is it not? I mean, it's not the complete possibility that he would be getting the same d- cloud computing domain. He would get. It might an
Yes.
probability that he may be getting cloud compute. I mean, web development and others either.
Yes, yes, definitely. It's definitely a possibility. As I said, lucky are those people who get that like if you're good at AWS and you get a team in AWS, that's something which is by luck. But you definitely, when you have joined the company and you see that this is something is interesting, then you can ask your manager to get a project in that. Again, it also depends if your manager is willing to, or if there is a project available. So there are a lot of factors.
Yeah. So probably, what do you suggest, like software development and web development, to firstly focus on that? Do you suggest it?
So right now for freshers, what should be the focus on? Good coding skills. That is problem solving skills. With that, if you have interest in anything else, I had interest in data science, so I did work on data science. But if you are interested in web development, then do web development and put it as the projects. Again, if you write it as your projects, in interviews also, you'll have a good discussion. You'll be able to tell that you did web development. You'll be able to answer all the questions on web development. And probably based on your resume, you get a team also related to web development. Again, that's a probably. You cannot be very sure of that.
Right. Yeah.
What I have seen personally is generally people are allotted the teams randomly. They do, like many companies say that we see the resume and allocate, but like sometimes it's very random.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, what is your degree? Is your BTech or B?
So I actually had an integrated dual degree course. So I had my bachelor's in computer science and master's in physics. But I sat for placements for all computer science ones. So mine is a B, bachelor's of engineering. It's similar to BTech.
Sir, what is the? I don't know about the DevOps course. What is that?
Dual course. So it's something which is present in some IITs and in BIT. So what happens is instead of one degree in 4 courses, in 4 years, you do 2 degrees in 5 years.
No, DevOps.
Yeah, could you repeat?
About DevOps course.
Okay, so DevOps is something. So again, it's not DevOps is a team which is there in definitely all the companies, and they do basically operations, like not the complete development part, but there is some operations also involved with development. So that's a team that's there in all companies, and definitely people also learn it. So they write it in their resume as well that they know DevOps. So again, something like different ways of whatever your interest is. Yeah.
Ma'am, what are you going to cover in this course?
So I mentioned it in the starting. I'll be taking mock interviews. Your mock interviews are soon going to start. You can actually schedule a mock interview. So I'll be taking the mock interviews, providing you feedback on all the things. And I'll also be covering graphs, dynamic programming, and machine learning. So machine learning, basically the project is already made. You have to just do the project. Again, the code, everything is provided for machine learning project. For graphs, already the recorded lectures are there. For dynamic programming also the lectures are there, and there will be some live lectures where we'll be discussing more. So if you know graphs, you've seen the recordings. Now we'll be discussing more questions on graphs, on LeetCode, and doing them together. Similarly with dynamic programming. And this would come somewhere at the end because these are advanced topics.
Ma'am, could you please share the slides in Slack group?
So I think these will be uploaded on the portal, but I'll definitely have a word with the operations team here. And in whichever way I have to share it, I'll share it. But you'll get it, don't worry.
Ma'am, I have
Okay,
ma'am.
Yeah.
I am not good in English, so can you suggest some idea how can I improve it?
So for English, what I would say is try communicating in English. So again, there are lots of courses that you could do and you can learn online, but start communicating in English. So like with your friends, try to communicate in English, and that's going to help you get the flow. Also, like in your mock interviews, try to communicate as well as possible in English. Have a lot of mock interviews, have kind of HR rounds also, where you're just explaining your ideas. You might not be good in the first, second, or third, but you'll definitely get better and better, like as soon as the number increases. So try to communicate as much as possible in English.
Ma'am, I had a doubt.
Yeah.
Ma'am, so basically, I am a pre-final year student right now. I'm pursuing my BTech in Information Technology from VIT Vellore. So, ma'am, what my case is that I am pretty efficient in basic data structures like arrays, and I know arrays and strings. And ma'am, also I know a little bit about STL and vectors and all. Means what basically I would say that I can do problems of level 1200 to 1800 and some problems of 1800 level on code forces. But the problem is that, ma'am, whenever I try learning advanced data structures or anything like that, ma'am, I'm not being able to solve those questions first, which is then again, making me not willing to learn those. So whenever I try and learn those, this problem comes to me, ma'am. How do I tackle these kind of
So
problems?
first of all, you'll definitely just give yourself some time. So let's say you started learning stacks, learn stacks in STL. Since you told you are doing STL, learn how you write STL, like how do you do the push operation, pop operation, do that. And then start with easy questions on lead code or easy questions on geeks for geeks. Don't jump to code forces or code chef. Don't do that.
I have done questions on lead code. Like I have solved about 30, 40 questions of easy and medium of arrays and same number of strings. I've
Do the
almost
same
solved.
for the difficult topics as well. The stacks, queues, whichever topics you are not confident at, start off with questions. And it obviously the first question you won't be able to do it. Even the 10th question also you won't be able to do that. You will have to go to the discussion section or see the solution. It's fine. Attempt it. If you're not able to do it, try to do it on your like try to see the question and try to do it like after one day on your own. So you'll have to give some time here. You'll probably be not able to do the first 20, 25, 30 or any questions, but once you have solved good number of questions, I'm sure you'll be able to go and do at some point.
Ma'am, but the thing happens is that whenever I see a solution, I don't know why, but I'm not able to understand the approach, approach used in that solution pretty well. So
So
this is
just understand the approach. Don't see the like how it is coded. Understand what was the
okay.
logic used. Try to do a dry run based on the logic. So you have examples, right?
Yes.
Understand what's the logic. Try to do a dry run. And if you have any other uh, examples coming in your mind, try to do a dry run. And once you know the approach and you've done the dry run, then write the code on your own. Don't,
Okay.
because it happens with everyone. Like it's very difficult to understand someone else's code.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. And ma'am, will we have resume reviews? Like, can I submit my resume for a review and get your feedbacks?
I think it will happen. Like again, we can confirm that from Weber. So in mock interviews, also your resume would be reviewed. So that would be a one-on-one where your resume we'll see and review it. And also, if you want specifically resume review, you can definitely ask Weber, and we can make something happen.
Okay. Okay.
So, like, whenever you get a chance to schedule mock interviews, do schedule it because that's going to help you. Right now, I'm just giving all these tips and everything to everyone. But your case would be very unique, right? So, in the one on ones, we'll be able to discuss things better.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, sure, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Hello, ma'am. I'm
Yeah.
2021 pass out. Hello.
Okay.
That
Yes.
can affect my now shortlisting in companies because I'm 2021 pass out and this is 2022.
Hmm.
Is this
Could you
is
repeat? Could you please
ma'am?
repeat?
I'm pass out from 2021 batch.
Hmm.
And this is now it is 2022. Is this it will affect that shortlisting of CV in companies?
So
Because
again, it depends on the qualifications that the company has put. Uh, like if you are like if you satisfy the minimum qualifications, then things won't be a problem. But like if you don't satisfy minimum qualifications, then probably you will not be able to apply in that particular company. But not a big problem, I would say. But uh, apply in a lot of companies so that you have a lot of opportunities. Yeah. Okay, can we move on to the fun segment?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah.
Ma'am, actually, I'm good in English and I'm trying to buy a course on English. Is it is enough if you do courses, online courses on English?
It should be enough. Like again, be very sure if you need the course or not. If you need the course, then definitely go ahead and buy it. Or like if it's free, then whatever it is. If you have to do a course and you feel that it's going to really help you in English, then definitely do that. Otherwise, you can actually just practice speaking in English with everyone around, and also in your mock interviews, in the behavioral, that is the HR rounds. In that way, you can practice. But if you feel that you really need some improvement and you're not able to, then definitely go and take some course.
Ma'am, there is a course by Josh.skill and their reviews are so good. Should I
Yes,
take this
if you
course?
feel, I probably am not the right person to recommend because I did not take the course. So, but if you feel it's good, then probably you can take.
Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Yes.
Hey Drishti, I'm Aditya.
Yeah.
I'm passed out last year in June. Since then, I was preparing for GATE full time, but now I'm done with the GATE. Like there is 7 to 8 months gap, so I want to get a job. My expectations are not very high, like to get 12 lakh per year, but I want to get somewhere between 6 to 10. So what roadmap do you suggest to me? I mean, how should I approach? I don't know where to apply.
Okay. Okay. So what? First, learn a language, right? Then start learning the simple data structures. Never jump onto something like stacks, queues, or graphs. First, start off with simple data structures. Get expertise on those simple data structures like arrays, strings, binary search, and so on, and then move to the other data structures. Slowly, probably I'll say do it in 30 or 40 days. In the last few days, you could actually learn the computer fundamentals. That's object-oriented programming, DBMS, all those things. That don't take a lot of time because that's a bit of theory. And then start applying. Also, you can apply for internships, like just do some good work somewhere. Since I think you don't have anything else to do, right? You're just learning, and you don't have your college, so you can apply for an internship, learn something there, and then put it in your resume. And meanwhile, once you're done with your DSA and computer fundamentals, start applying. No, it's fine if you're getting rejected. It's absolutely fine. But the more you apply, the more opportunities you get, and the more probability of you getting selected.
Okay, so it does matter that I have 6, 7 to 8 months gap or not. I mean, I just graduated last summer in June, so it is like 7 to 8 months gap. So I have applied in few companies, but because they have closed their application for the students of 2021, they are not allowing me to sit in the test, and neither they are giving me the confirmation mail.
Yeah, again, it will happen. Like it's fine if it's happening, but as I said, apply in more companies, and also try to look for internships. So like if you have internships, there are two possibilities. One is you might get a job there itself, based on your work, and the second is you are going to get experience which you can put, and which will definitely help you in like shortlisting your resume.
Is Intershala good for internships?
I wouldn't say that, honestly. Um, Probably that's not what I recommend. But whenever you see a post on LinkedIn, be active on LinkedIn. That's what I would definitely suggest. Whenever you see like a HR asking for some interns, And there are a lot of internship opportunities that I keep seeing every day. Um, Also, honestly, I got my job that is off Google as off-campus placement. It was not something that I got on campus. On campus was what I got as Oracle because of my internship in Oracle as a pre-placement offer. So just seeing the posts on LinkedIn and then applying. I did apply in a lot of companies. I got rejected. Again, when you are in a job, no one sees your rejections, but each person has rejections. So I applied at a lot of places, got rejected even in very big companies as well. But eventually I got something good. So rejections would come. Keep applying wherever you see, whether it's career portal or if you want to try, go for internshala also. I did not try that. And whenever you see a post on LinkedIn, go for LinkedIn posts as well.
And what about Indeed?
Um, Again, I did not try, so probably I'm not sure of that.
So you are recommending me LinkedIn jobs.
LinkedIn job openings when like when someone tells that uh, my team is hiring or this particular
Yeah.
company is looking for so and so things. So if there's something relevant, do reach out to that person or do mail them your resume.
So should I start applying after completing this course? I mean, the basic coding and data
Yes,
structures and
yes.
algorithms.
Because let's say if you apply today and you have an interview tomorrow scheduled, then your chance would go waste, right? Because you don't know a lot of things right now.
Yeah,
So do something and then apply.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, hi, Drishti. Sorry to interrupt, but I guess you can skip now this fun segment because we are already running out of time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There's nothing much, but yeah, open to questions first. Maybe I'll just
yeah.
skip this.
That work.
Yeah, I'm here at AMA. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions?
Hello, ma'am. I just wanted to ask, like, I have started from a month, means all this coding and gamma preparations. I mean, internship even as in my third year, I'm right now. So in 15 or 20 days, I was working rigorously, and in 20 days, I got specs, and I'm really, quite disheartened because of it. Because in my whole generation, no one has specs, and this is my first time, and I'm really confused because I've literally got started headaches because of it, and I'm like, it's not it's just the initials of my journey, and at present I'm facing this, and then how should I think about the long term spread?
Honestly, this probably every software engineer or software student is going to face somewhere like now or probably later. I also face the same. Also, since it's work from home and you're just in front of a laptop doing things are definitely like hard where you just have to be in the front of a laptop and code things. So it would happen. Like we can't do anything about that. But then like after work I definitely try to go for cycling or I try to do some physical activity. If you want you can join some classes like play
Yeah,
badminton, all those things you can do.
yeah,
But
ma'am.
yeah, this is something that
Yeah.
will happen like
Yeah, ma'am, I've joined the classes, but ma'am, what I wanted to ask was, do you take breaks over there? I mean, you work for some time and take some, small naps or something. I mean,
yes,
that's
yes,
what I wanted to
definitely.
know, actually.
Definitely. I do that a lot. So I work again. Probably I won't be able to do it when I'm at office, but in work from home, I work whenever I feel like. So again, if there's a deadline, then I don't have a choice. But again, Google's culture is also that good that whenever I feel like I work, and also my team is in US, so like I meet people in US at night and I also have that habit of studying at night because that's what people in college used to do, right?
Yeah.
So I try to work at nights, which is something which like I'm good at working at nights, like my productivity level is high and also I'm able to interact with my US peers.
Yeah,
So
ma'am. Yeah, what I was asking, yeah, actually, what I want to ask in real is like, suppose you are doing a 2 hours continuously sitting in front of a screen, and again, do you take 15-20 minutes break and then again,
Yes.
just roam around, just be back? Is it something like that?
Yes, definitely. Also, yeah, I definitely do that. So I don't sit at a particular place because I get bored. That's also one reason. I don't sit at a particular place for more than an hour. I roam around the entire home. I go for small naps. I go for watching something. I also probably try to go for cycling, which I'm very lazy about, but I try to go. And there are other things also that I keep doing,
Yeah,
like
ma'am.
yeah.
Ma'am, also, ma'am, at the specs, I mean, probably you might have been knowing the protection and all, some 3D layers or protective UV layers have come. Are you using that even? I mean, for the precaution's sake?
Um, I actually like to use the blue light filter.
Yeah,
So
that's all.
that's something that I use. Otherwise, I don't use a lot of things. But yeah, whenever I work, I have my specs on. So I don't try to be really very super cool and just be without specs all day and get a headache at night. I always have specs whenever I'm working.
Okay, ma'am. Specs are real compulsion. And ma'am, for laptop also, have you got some protective screen and all?
Yes, yes. I have desktops. So companies provide desktops, or sorry, not desktops, the monitors. So which help you. So
Okay.
they are definitely going to take care of that.
Yeah. Thank you so very much, ma'am.
Anything else?
Ma'am, resources that you have used for DSA.
So I actually I started off with interview bit. I did questions on interview bit. And then since in interview bit there are limited questions, I would say at my time there were 200 to 50 questions in total. The advantage that interview bit has is that there's a timer set and you get points based on the timer, and there's some ranking also. So you get that motivation that I need to go up in the ranking and I need to do this question as fast as possible so that I get good points. But there are limited questions, and after interview bit I switched on to lead code, and I feel that's the best place. See a question, try to answer it. If you're not able to, go to the discussion section. There are lots and lots of solutions and people explain things pretty well there. So lead code is something that I prefer. And I would say that if like we are also trying to have some questions where we are going to explain you the approach in the live classes. So I think that might also help. Again, we are going to focus on lead code questions. Yeah. Anything else?
Ma'am, also, do you suggest that we should have, I mean, a particular notebook in which we could write most of the algorithms? Is it something as such? Even, I mean, what I was thinking, like, I mean, I'm just starting from scratch right now. So I was thinking, like, to have a notebook, write each and every algorithm which I'll be learning, and then practice on laptop once and again on, like boards and whiteboards and blackboards at home, which I have, and then again, just get up. Is it something we need to mug up some things even? I mean, something.
In DSA, I wouldn't say there are a lot of things to mug up, like, but yeah, there are a lot of things to revise. So there will be a lot of algorithms. And if you have a habit of making notes, I also had a habit. I started off making notes, but then I used to write notes for each and every question, and then it became a real pain. So
Yeah, ma'am, that's what I want to ask because I write everything in my notebook.
so then I shifted to writing everything on Google Docs so that I have it handy everywhere.
Okay.
So I transitioned there because it's kind of practically impossible to write notes about every question on pen and paper.
Yeah. And then again, go and revise.
And you also should have your notebook handy everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, anything else? Maybe I'll just take one last question and then we'll close. Sorry for the delay. We're already ahead of time, a lot ahead of time. Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. Can you please conduct online classes on Google Meet instead of Microsoft Teams?
I would definitely like to, but the problem is we are not able to record there properly. So that's why we've taken Microsoft Teams. Providing recordings here is a bit simpler. That's why we take Microsoft Teams. Otherwise, we'll definitely try if you're able to record it in Google Meets as well. Yeah. Okay, so let's close for now. It was really fun interacting, and I found it to be super interactive. So, okay, there are questions, or why are their hands raised? Okay, okay. So,
First,
yes.
Good evening, ma'am. Hello. Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Can you
Yes.
please on please on Slack?
Sorry, not able to hear.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I am facing difficulty in hashing, ma'am. What can I do?
So hashing, I would say, is is not very difficult. You just have to understand that those are key value pairs and how do you write them. And then you can do questions. Start off with simple questions like try to do two sum. That's the lead code question. Try to do it using hashing, and then probably you'll enjoy it. So I started hashing with that two sum question, and I felt really good about like why we need hashing. Like what's the advantage of hashing? That's where you understand from that two sum question. So try to do easy level questions. Don't move to jump difficult questions in the start. Try to do easy questions, gain confidence, and then only move. And also analyze why you are using hashing instead of other things, because that is also very important. Like in interview, you will have to select the data structure.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so we'll
Ma'am,
close.
please share PPT on Slack.
Yes, definitely. For sure, those will
I
be
would
shared.
like to thanks Drishti. Actually, really like it was a very good session. Actually, I joined at last, I guess around 25 minutes back. So it is actually a very good session. Like the advice Drishti is giving, it's really amazing. So thanks.
Sorry for the delay.
No, it's totally fine.
Yeah. Okay, so thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you, Vaibhav.
Yeah,
And
so
let's
ma'am,
close with the next
Thank you,
campus.
ma'am. Nice to meet you.
sir,
Okay, thank you, everyone.
ma'am, I have a question left. Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, sure.
Ma'am, when we are going to have the project session live?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll tell you, Mazul, about it. You will get all the notifications on the Slack. Okay.
Okay, sir.
There will be a class on tomorrow.
You will get all the notifications on the Slack, maybe. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, Drishti, thanks. Now we are closing the meet. Thank you again.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.